Joining me today on Primetime Local News is Mark Leslie, author of the new novel Fear and Longing in Los Angeles. Now, this novel is part of a wider Canadian werewolf series. Mark, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me. First of all, can you just tell me a little bit about this new novel?
Fear and Longing in Los Angeles features a man who happens to be a wolf, who happens to be, I guess, an expat Canadian living normally in Manhattan in New York. It's part of my Canadian werewolf series. So he turns into a wolf, obviously, during the cycle of the moon. He actually turns into a wolf, like an actual gray wolf, not a half man, half wolf. And he has no conscious memory of what happened. So it's kind of like this, the old TV show The Incredible Hulk. He just doesn't know what the monster does while he's sleeping as a conscious human. But as a human, he also has side effects, special powers, enhanced senses, enhanced strength, and he uses his powers to help other people. So he's sort of this meek, mild manner. I call him an alpha wolf, but a beta human who just wants to help people as a human, and have to deal with the side effects of the fact that he turns into this creature sometimes during the month.
So as you mentioned, this book is part of a series. Book came before and some other stories came before as well. Can you just tell me a little bit about the inspiration of this series?
Yeah, I was actually writing initially a short story for an anthology called The Beast Within, and the idea is they wanted to look at the monster behind, or the human behind the monster. And I had this idea of what would it be like if I lived in a city like Manhattan. I had just recently visited New York for the first time, was kind of in love with the city. And I thought, what if I woke up in this, in Battery Park here in the southern tip of Manhattan, no memory of the night before, completely naked, there's a bullet hole in my leg, and it's just another day for me because I had no idea what I did the night before as a wolf. And that was the genesis of a short story called This Time Around, because it opens up, this time around, I woke up naked in Battery Park with a bullet in my leg and the taste of human blood in my mouth. What had I been up to last night? And that kicked off wanting to explore Michael Andrews, who I hadn't even named in the story, as well, how does he deal with being a wolf? And all of the hilarious, because there's a lot of humor in it, hilarious side effects of, all right, where is he going to find clothes? He's going to find discarded underwear in the park that he's going to put on because he needs to get home without, getting arrested for nudity. So that was kind of the genesis of the story. And I've just been sort of following him along and the people he helps along the way.
Now, you've written nonfiction before. This book is obviously fiction. What was the writing process like when you come to write a story like this?
Well, I think so because it was set in a city I've only been to about a dozen times. And when I first wrote it, I had only been there once. There's a lot of research involved because I wanted to get it right. So, for example, I remember, so he wakes up, and I've never been to Battery Park at 6 in the morning in August. What's it like? So I had friends who lived there, and I was constantly on phone calls with them and interacting in email saying, well, have you been in Battery Park at 6 in the morning? It's like, well, there's joggers and there's this, and you'll hear this, and there's the people off the night shift work that'll be coming through from Staten Island Ferry. And so a lot of that research inspired the people he met. Oh, he's going to meet somebody coming back from shift work, overnight shift work, like cleaning the office buildings downtown. So and I think there's research involved in wolf, right? Like, so what I mean, because let's be honest, wolves are actually very they don't kill for sport like humans do. They kill for territory, or to protect their pack,
Mm-hmm.
or for food. Like, they don't just go out and hunt for the fun of it. And so the monster he is actually more compassionate in many ways than humans are. And so there was a lot of research into the setting, and research into also, well, what would the side effects be if you had heightened senses like a canine? And so obviously, the dogs I have are inspiration because they hear things and they smell things, that they smell emotion, and stuff like that. So there was a lot of research in this fiction book, was either setting or just trying to get the logistics right, and then even making up the mythology.
Yeah.
What phase? So if the phase of the moon is 80% or more, he turns into a wolf. If it's 79%, he doesn't. So I had to make things up, but also keep a record of it. So in the next book, I actually have to say it's set on June 14th, 2017. Is he going to be a wolf that night or not? So those are the things so I can be true within my fantastical world.
So, what can readers expect from this book? What kind of read is it? And also, what's the kind of ideal reader for this story?
So I liken it to, I suppose they're considered urban fantasy because there are fantastical creatures that exist in our real world. It's meant to be a mostly realistic look at, is meant to be a humorous thriller. That was the first book, A Canadian Werewolf in New York. And it was the whole course of his day from waking up in the morning, like sunrise to sunset, and you kind of see his full day. Fear and Longing in Los Angeles takes place over the course of several weeks. But the whole idea is you don't really ever see him as a wolf. You only see him as the human dealing with the side effects of the wolf. So, if you are a fan of like the Marvel movies, Spider-Man in particular was a huge inspiration for me. I loved Spider-Man comics. So Michael has that same sense of with great power comes great responsibility. So people who like superhero, people who like maybe superheroes who are not necessarily born to be heroes, like the mild mannered person trying to deal with having these special powers, and he's not really a he's not an alpha wolf in any sense of the form. And he also makes observations about his own situation, like, wow, I wish there was a book, werewolves for dummies, because who knows how to deal with this, because I don't know anyone else who has these powers, and how do I keep from getting put in a lab if they find out about me. So there's a lot of humor involved with thriller aspects, a little bit. Some of my readers like the love. There's a bit of a love story in both of the full length novels. Him wanting to get back together with an ex girlfriend, and in Fear and Longing in Los Angeles, he goes to L.A. to escape this relationship where he finds new love.
For people who are interested in picking up a copy of this book or buying it, where are they able to do so?
You can get my books in print, or in most of them are in audio. Fear and Longing still not out in audio yet; it's coming soon, or in ebook format. And what I would recommend is this time around on most retailers, is free or 99 cents. Amazon doesn't always let you make it free,
Mhm.
so it's the first 10,000 words of the what became the novel, A Canadian Werewolf in New York, and so people can try it for free. And if they like it, they've got three more books to read in the series.
And what's next for you, Mark?
Well, I have Fright Night's Big City coming out in December, which continues basically 2 minutes after the end of Fear and Longing in Los Angeles. That novel does wrap up, but there's also some unresolved things that happen that come back, which I realized as I was writing it have to happen. And yeah, I've got that book coming out, and then I even have a nonfiction book for writers coming out this month as well. So lots in the on my plate right now.